Hey, what is up, guys? It is Limited Llama back with another Sorare MLB video. In this video, I'm going to be going over how my teams did in game week 16, and then also be setting my teams up for game week 17. So, as a quick reminder, I did record my video about relief pitchers. I'll edit that today, and that'll be up tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. If you aren't, get subscribed down below. So let's go ahead and let's review how I did in game week 16. My best team was the Common All-Star team. For some reason, in my limited All-Star team, Lucas Giolito didn't end up pitching, even though it said he was going to pitch. And then Brandon Lowe also just didn't play, even though it said he was going to play. Might be some Tampa Bay Rays shenanigans. So I did pretty terribly there because, like two of my players didn't play. And William Contreras also didn't do super well. The rest of my players did decent, about what I would expect. Over on the limited pro side of things actually went pretty well for a couple players. Jose Abreu had a big week, and Trevor Rogers also did really well at 31 points, even though he's supposed to not get that many points per week. I think he's supposed to get like 17 per start. So he did really solid, and then Kramer did pretty solid. He did okay, and then Abreu did really well. So again, not enough in either of these cases to get rewards, but just giving you a recap of how my teams did. I think if I combined my players in a different way, I would have been able to get a reward. For example, if I pitched Trevor Rogers instead of Lucas Giolito, had Jose Abreu instead of Brandon Lowe, and then maybe Colton Wong instead of William Contreras, I think I would probably be able to get a reward. But again, hindsight's 2020. There's not really any way I could know that these two players weren't pitching, so that's kind of a tough spot to be in. But on the Common All-Star side of things, my teams actually did pretty well. Springs pitched super well. Ramirez and Chavez both did really solid. Adele still just not a super great outfielder, -1, and the rest of my players did average. So I ended up with a Tier 3 reward. So let's go ahead and let's open up that Common Tier 3 reward, and let's see what we get. Seattle Mariners catcher Cal Riley. Okay, let's see how he's been doing this year. Cal Riley. Let's see, he's 25, so he's pretty young. This year he has a 3.5 wins above replacement, 204 batting average. Again, he's a catcher though, and that's kind of the tough part about this. Catchers just don't really generally bat that well, so even though he has 3.5 wins above replacement, that's likely due to his defensive catching. It does look like he has a OPS plus of 115, which is pretty solid, OPS of 748, so a decent player. Again, I already have some good middle infielders like Michael Chavez, but I really wish I need like another outfielder. That's really what I need, because Joe Adele just really has not been getting any points. So a solid pickup. I might actually play him in a couple competitions, so happy about that. And I'm also happy that he's pretty young. There's a chance that he's just at the start of a really solid career, so maybe, a couple months or a year down the line, he's a really solid player that I can play more frequently. So not a bad pickup. So let's go ahead and let's head over to week 17, and let's start up creating my team. So as always, I'll start off with limited all-star, which is where I put my best players. And I looked at this earlier, and somehow all of my starting pitchers are actually pitching this weekend, which is absolutely insane. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 8 starting pitchers that I could potentially pitch. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pitch Zach Gallen because he has been incredible for me. Relief pitcher-wise, probably just going to stick with Camilo Doval, although he's playing against the Dodgers, and the Giants aren't very good, and the Dodgers are pretty good. I might actually not do Camilo Doval. My other options are Jason Adam. Jason Adam isn't really like a closer, though. Andres Munoz occasionally gets some saves and some holds, and they're playing against the Angels. The Angels aren't that good. The Rangers aren't that good. I think I'm going to go with Andres Munoz here just because Seattle plays a lot of close games, and there's a chance that Andres Munoz might be able to put up some holds there. Now, corner infielder, I think I'm going to go with Jose Abreu. He had a really solid week last week, and they're playing the Tigers, who are really bad, so hopefully he keeps up his hot streak. Middle infielder, I'm going to go with Ahmed Rosario. The Guardians are playing 4 games this weekend, and he's been pretty hot, so I'm going to go with Ahmed Rosario. He'll probably be playing in every single game. Outfielder, this is where it kind of gets tricky. I haven't really had like a really consistent outfielder. Charlie Blackmon and Jock Peterson occasionally get me some good points. Harold Ramirez also occasionally gets some solid points. I think I'm leaning between Charlie Blackmon and Harold Ramirez here because Charlie Blackmon's playing against the Cubs and Harold Ramirez is playing against the Rangers. I think I'm going to go with Charlie Blackmon here against the Cubs. Hopefully he puts up some points and gets me a solid week. Now the extra player, again, this is a position player that I can play here. I'll probably, let's see, my options are CJ Cron, just go all in on the Rockies. I could also go William Contreras, Colton Wong, Jack Peterson, or Harold Ramirez here. I think doubling up on the Rockies isn't a bad idea. Let's actually look and let's see what the Rockies' traditional lineup looks like and see if these players are batting back-to-back. So let's look at Rockies lineup. Starting lineups for the Colorado Rockies. So looks like they got Cron and then Blackmon. So they are back-to-back, which means, as I talked about in previous videos, they're essentially a stack. So if Charlie Blackmon gets on base and then CJ Cron hits him in, you're getting both an RBI and a run for that. So it kind of exponentially increases your points. So I'm going to go CJ Cron there specifically because it's a stack, and I'm hoping that they do pretty well together. Now, the last player here, I'm going to go with the starting pitcher since so many of them are pitching and it's a short week. I think I'm probably going to go, I could go with Jesus Luzardo here. He's against the Nationals. They're really bad. Or I could go with one of the White Sox players who are also playing Detroit, and they aren't very good either. I think I'm going to go with Jesus Luzardo. Again, he's been a solid player for me, and he's playing against the Nationals, who aren't super good. So we'll go ahead and pick him up, and there you go. My limited all-star lineup is set. So let's go ahead and let's go through my limited pro lineup. I think I'm going to pitch both of the White Sox players in this one. They have the highest average for me, and then they also are playing against the Tigers. So I don't really expect the Tigers to put too much of a competition up against them. Relief pitcher-wise, I could either go with Camilo Doval or Jason Adam here. I'm really worried that Camilo Doval just isn't going to get any opportunities for a save at all because the Dodgers are so good and the Giants aren't that good. So I think I'm going to go with Jason Adam here and hope that he gets me at least some points. Corner infielder, I'm going to go with, I think, William Contreras here. Hopefully he's kind of an on and off player. Some weeks he does super well, some weeks he doesn't do well at all. Hopefully he does well this week. Middle infielder, going to go with Colton Wong. He's essentially my only option unless Brandon Lowe comes back. I'm not sure if he's on the IL or if he just didn't play last week, but regardless, we're going to go with Colton Wong here. Outfielder, I think I'm going to go with Harold Ramirez. He has a lot of power, and they're playing against the Rangers. Jack Peterson, again, is playing against the Dodgers. So let's go with Harold Ramirez here. And then I do get an extra player, so I can either go Jack Peterson, Joe Adell, Will Benson, or one of these players. I'm going to look and see whether or not Brandon Lowe is like on the injured list or what's going on. Let's go Brandon Lowe fantasy updates. Brandon Lowe fantasy news. Okay, so he has been placed on the IL with lower back discomfort. So he's not going to be playing, so I wouldn't want to play him in this competition. And then Austin Slater, let's look at him as well. Not really sure what's going on with him. Let's look up him. Austin Slater. Fantasy updates. It doesn't look like there's anything. Doesn't look like there's any updates there. So I could play Austin Slater. Again, they're playing against the Dodgers, though. And I guess Jack Peterson just has a higher average in general. So I'll go Jack Peterson instead of Austin Slater here. And then in the flex spot, I'm going to go ahead and put my other starting pitcher, Lucas Giolito, who again is against the Tigers and has the highest average. So we go ahead and pitch Lucas Giolito there. And then both my limited lineups are set. So let's go ahead and let's walk through my common lineup. So my options are Jeffrey Springs or Mike Minor here. I'm going to go with Jeffrey Springs because they're playing against the Rangers, and he's been pretty solid in the past couple competitions I've played him in. So go with Jeffrey Springs there. Now my options for relief pitchers, I have quite a few. We got Alexis Diaz. They have 4 games, which is very enticing. That should give Alexis Diaz more chances. Garrett Whitlock against the Royals. I want to see how Garrett Whitlock has been doing. Let me go over to Sorare data, and let's look at Garrett Whitlock to see if he's actually been pitching or not. Garrett Whitlock. here we go, scores. So looks like he has 2 points, 11 points, 9 points, 3 points, but it looks like most of his action has been, before September. It does not look like he's pitched much in September, so I'm a little bit worried that that trend is going to continue. Again, if he, picks this up, I'll definitely be pitching him more often, but it doesn't look like he's pitching all that often. So I'm going to go with Alexis Diaz here because they are playing 4 games, so it should give Diaz a lot of opportunities. Corner infielder, of course, going to go with Jose Ramirez, my best player. Middle infielder, I've got a few options here. Michael Chavis was really hot, but now they're playing the Mets. The Mets are really good. We got Travis d'Arnaud, Cal Riley, who I just picked up. Both of these players are catchers, so I'm a little bit worried that they wouldn't be playing all 3 games. They might have an off day in there. Or Kevin Biggio, who's playing the Orioles. Let's go ahead and let's see if Kevin Biggio has actually been playing every day. I'm a little bit worried that he's not a starter. So let's go here, go over to game logs for 2022, and go down. It does actually look like he's been playing just about every day. So it does look like Kevin Biggio is actually playing every single day. It looks like he's starting some games, subbing in other games. So my options are Kevin Biggio, Michael Chavis, Nicky Lopez, or Travis d'Arnaud. Let's see how many games Travis d'Arnaud has been playing in. d'Arnaud. I'm putting a little bit more effort into my lineup this week, specifically because my lineups have been doing pretty poorly the past few weeks. So I want to make sure that I actually maybe have something that wins this week. So let's go game logs. Looks like first, second, third, fourth. So it looks like he's playing, again, just about 1 or 2 out of every 3 games. So I think I'm going to go with Kevin Biggio here since I think he'll play in all 3 games. Travis d'Arnaud and Cal Riley might only play in 2 out of those 3. Outfielder, again, somehow I only have 2 outfielders, even though there's so many outfielders in the league. I don't know how I haven't gotten more. Now, my extra player, I'm going to go with Matt Chapman here. He's a really solid third baseman. And then my flex spot, I can either go with Mike Minor. I'm a little bit worried, though, because he's playing against the Cardinals. I could go with Garrett Whitlock, but I think I'm going to go with Luke Voigt because he's been pretty solid for me in the past couple weeks. He's been hitting pretty well, and they're playing against the Marlins, who aren't very good. So let's go ahead and let's submit that lineup in. And then for training, I'm going to create quite a few training teams because I want all of my pitchers to be getting XP. Again, I'm just going to be putting in all of my my limited players here so that they're getting XP. And then you can create as many training lineups as you want. So I'm just going to continue creating those so that all my players are getting experience. And then I think that is all of my limited players. Let me check. Yes, that is indeed all of my limited players. Although I guess looking at this, it does actually look like common players have XP now. I didn't think they had XP. Okay, so I guess I didn't think common players got experience, but it does actually look like they're getting experience. So I'll go ahead and create training lineups for them as well so that everybody's rocking up the experience. So, all right, I don't think I can make another training team because I don't have enough players. Yeah, don't have enough corner infielders. So let's go ahead. Let's take a look at my teams. Overall, I think limited All-Star is where I have the most hope. If Zach Gallen and Jesus Luzardo both have really solid weeks, and then I get maybe some points from the stack, I think I'll be in a really good spot to get a limited reward. But as a reminder, I'm going to be posting a video tomorrow about relief pitchers, so be on the lookout for that, and post in the comments how your teams did this week. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.